Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio, and today it is pages 6 and 7 in my collection of Curiosities. I think that's the pages I'm on. And the prompt I'm going with from Inktober is map, and so I decided to create a magical map and decided to add some flip out so it extends the page a bit, kind of like a map folds out. Anyways, that was my idea. And so I'm taking these two jelly prints that needed enhancement, and I'm going to use those as the flip out section. I'm taking quinacridone nickel azo gold and I think it's alizarin crimson. Nope, quinacridone red orange, I think. The one that looks like blood. Anyway, I'm adding them to try and get them to kind of fit in with the pages that are already there. And so I added a lot of water, so I'm blotting it off. And decided it needs some shimmer because my other one had gold, so I'm adding a little bit of just a iridescent gold and cropped it because it was taking a lot of time. And this is a little bit longer video, and it's just these two pages combined as one prompt. And yeah, this time I decided I would wet the whole page before adding the paint. And I thought I'd try doing the technique where you add it to the back so that it doesn't cover up paint that's already on the front. It just fills in the white areas. Thought I'd give it a try. That's partially why I added the water to the paper so that it would soak in. And it's too light, in my opinion. Once we turn this over, you'll see. My pages that I already have are really rich and deep, I think, in my opinion. I keep saying my opinion. I don't know why. It's just my opinion today. And this just isn't going to cut it. Just too light, too pale. So I let them dry. Well, I add more to this one. That's right. But I still let them dry. Just to make it darker. And that is the quinacridone red orange. I do like that color. Which is weird because this whole book is not exactly in my color scheme. I like blues and greens and teals and stuff, and this has a lot of orange and stuff in it and red. All right, so I let them dry, and I decided I would do like a coat of, this is probably alizarin crimson. It's got more pinky to it. Anyways, I braided it on there. I sprayed it to get it wet. And now I'm blotting it because it's really wet. I was trying to go for that crackly crazing, but I had way too much water on there, I think. But I'm not looking for a perfect print. I just want to deepen things. Alright, so this time I decided I would do a bit of an ombre where it switches from one color to the next, and also spritzing that with water, and I let it separate a bit before I printed. You didn't see it, I cut it out, but I just sat it and let it sit for a minute to break up. And I know it looks a hot mess, but that's how all of the jelly printing for my collections of Curiosity book has gone. Very hot messy. But the pages look good, I think. I'm not going to say in my opinion. So I decided to lift up this paint with just some, I think this is buff titanium. And yeah, I'm just going to pull a cleanup print to get that off. So I figured I'd include that footage so you could see. And this is just a scrap piece of, I believe it is a cardstock. It's a stiffer paper, I think. And I let it dry on there so that it would clean up the whole plate. So you can see I've cleaned the surface. I've done other things while it dried. And it just takes everything off the plate beautifully. And that's kind of a fun, funky print. I don't know what I'll do with it. It's got crusty bits on the side. All right. I decided I wanted to have some medallion coins to go on the flaps of the map. And why not make things gold? So I'm just adding those. And then we're going to pull it. Of course, I only get one side on there. But the idea is just to lift up the gold as much as I can. And then I will pull the medallion coins. And you know, when you start jelly printing, you just want to keep jelly printing. Even though you're working on another project. So just adding some gold to this page. Yeah, it helps. Anything helps. That gold is a bit old and it's a little bit slimy. Has a little bit slimy consistency to it, I think. I throw some big ones on here and some small ones. And again, just lifting off the gold so that the coin shapes will be what's left. And that's just a random piece of tissue. It's hanging out on my desk, so I used it to pick up some gold. Pull these off real quick. And put it on the other page. You can tell this is just cheap copy paper because it's wrinkled a lot. That's okay. There we go. So this time we're going to make some blue medallion coins. Because I want to get my blue in my book. I want to get my blue in there. So I thought that page looked pretty good, so I set it aside and grabbed something else to lift up the rest of the blue. Thinking about what I'm going to do next. So I decided to take that cleanup print and pull up the medallions on it. Can almost see them. Alright, so I'm going to take these two pieces and fold them in half, make them a little bit stronger, and they will be the fold out flaps. You'll see. So I'm going to glue them together to just make them one stronger half size. And hopefully that'll just make it a little bit stronger. And I'm just using a plastic card to smooth them out, make sure there's no air bubbles. And I went ahead and outlined these medallion coins with like a metallic pen. And I can't remember, but I think I took a little blue colored pencil to it just to finish out the pattern. Some of them didn't pull quite as well. So, yeah. All right, so the footage on this isn't very good because it's a little bit big and awkward. So I only show one side. I'm trimming off the excess, the bright orange. I didn't even measure. I figured it didn't really matter as long as it was within the page. And yeah, so the part that doesn't have a lot of print, that's kind of plain, is what I'm taking off. And I'm going to do that to both pieces. I guess the common theme on these particular pages is circles. Circles are very magical, right? So they work in a collection of curiosities or a grimoire. I don't know if it's a grimoire. It doesn't have magic spells, but oh, and I'm inking these up so that, trying to hide the white, just so it's not right in your face white edges. And I am using archival ink because that's what I prefer. It's not as juicy as my other ones. Probably need more ink, but I like the fact that it's permanent once it's dry. And I decided to go around my medallion coins. I don't know if they really needed it, but I went around them anyway. So I have some leftover shopping bag paper that I used on another project, my journal collaboration project, when I made faux leather. So I have these, the scraps, and I decided I would use strips of that, like washi, and tape the flaps down, well, glue the flaps on using that, the brown paper bag. So I've got those on. Like I said, the visibility is bad. You can see my garbage off to the right. Sorry about that. My camera is a little off center for some reason. I probably had to change the battery or something and jostled it. I don't know. Now I'm just pressing that back so we can have our map that opens up. And I decide just to glue these medallion coins on the outside. My camera is on a boom attached to an easel, so whenever I turn it on and off, it jiggles a little bit. So if you noticed it swaying, usually I wait before I start doing anything because I'll cut it off in the editing process, the swinging, but Obviously, I missed a little bit there because I noticed it swinging. Sometimes I'm just too excited to keep going, so I just turn it on and go and forget that the camera's up there swinging back and forth. I apologize if anybody gets any seasickness. My little paperweight's like the perfect size for these circles. I use that to hold things flat while the glue dries a little bit. Alright, so now we're going to create a map. And I decided for the map I would sort of draw my neighborhood. And I'm using a charcoal, this is white charcoal, pencil, because I can get rid of it if I need to, rub it out. For the most part, some of it doesn't come off. But that first part you saw me do was the street. And then I added the others. Didn't make you watch that part so that you could get all the way through it. And now I'm just outlining everything. Driveways and street corners. I think I only put like one street corner in there. And some driveways are longer than reality, but that's for fun. That's to make it fun, right? Just add a little imaginary to the neighborhood. I was going to try and put in like a crystal grotto, but I didn't find a picture of I wanted a crystal cave, but I didn't find anything that would work for that. And I wasn't about to hand draw that. So I didn't put one in. I thought it would be kind of fun, like there's this magical crystal cave in my neighborhood. And I'm writing some things in runes. That word going down the left side there was Rose Wall. Because the lady that lives in that house, she has a long fence along the side of the road and used to be covered in roses. She's letting them die because she doesn't want to take care of them. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard. We have 3 or 4 rose bushes at my house, and they are minimal care, really minimal. I think the word in the center is Shelley. I can't remember. It doesn't look like Shelley. But what else would I have written? I don't know. Trying to add some green for some trees. And I try to use my gray Faber-Castell brush pen, but it's just not quite dark enough. I do go through and do the whole thing. Darkening the road and the driveways so they'll show up a little bit. But I do come back in and add some paint. Because my map needs some emphasis. I was going to say color. It's got plenty of color. Okay, so I'm going to add some green so you can see where the properties are, or the curbs, as opposed to the streets. I'm just going to go along the edges just to emphasize it a little bit. I don't want to cover up all the gel print and I'm painting right over the fabric that was holding my signatures together, or my pages together. Just going along the edge of everywhere that a road or a path was. I'm just going along that edge. And then after I did that, I decided to do the same thing on the road with black and just emphasize the streets a little bit more. And that should really bring out the map, I think. I hope. Without getting completely black. Just doing a little bit of shading. And yeah, I blend with my finger. I just can't help it. I was trying to account for all the houses on the street, but I'm not sure if I caught them all. And then past the intersection, I didn't put anything. We'll fill that in with some other decoration, maybe. I don't remember if I edited this part or not. But yeah, I made a few long roads or paths into, or driveways. That little spot, that's a path. That's in the backyard. I made my backyard look really big. Well, it is kind of big, but I made it look really big compared to everybody else's. You can tell where the gold is because the black doesn't just go on as easy. It tends to resist a bit, which is interesting. So I decided to emphasize around the lettering because it didn't feel like I could see it as well. And then I just started emphasizing around everything. I'm recording on a new iPad because my other one finally died, bit the dust, and I know the app is more updated, but it's been a little bit more difficult to work with. And if there's long periods of silence, the white noise gets really loud on the recording. So if you hear total silence sometimes, I'm actually editing out pauses because the white noise I don't like white noise. I don't like static sound. Anyway, so I decided to pick a few things to decorate the map with. So I put a flower in there for the rose wall. Gonna add a butterfly, and I had this shell sticker, Nautilus, and that's for Shelly. Since that's my last name, that's where my house is. I figured I would put that on there. And my neighbor's last name is Fox, but that was just way too big. So I don't do that. I wanted to add this metal charm. I think I do end up adding the key. I don't think the owl charm ends up on there. I do find some mushrooms, because I was thinking of fairy rings and how they have mushrooms. I tried drawing one, but I didn't like it, so pulling out the stickers, and they work. I just had that of a sun shape. Doesn't really relate to their last name, but I thought it was fun, so it's going on there. And I have a couple of potion labels. I figured I'd put them on there too. But it's just about to the end. I hope you like my map. I do a little short video of the whole map at the end, so you can kind of see it better, hopefully. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know. Leave me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. That helps YouTube know that you liked what you saw, and maybe it will suggest it to somebody else who might get to see it. Yeah, I appreciate you watching. Oh, this is part of a series, so I will have the playlist in the description box below. And I do have a flip through of where I was up to the 18th of October. So that's also going to be added to the playlist, so that'll be there. If you want to see future pages before they come out on video. Individually, anyway. That'll all be down below. And thank you all for watching. Have an awesome day.